What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker. So have you ever felt like you need to do the entire Rocky training montage in order to get your ridgeline nice and tight because you need a lot of this? Well, today's video then is definitely for you because you don't need a lot of this to get a tight ridgeline. We're going to show you 3 ways to get your ridgeline super tight without much of this and this. Okay, so when we're talking ridgelines, we're talking a fixed ridgeline, tree to tree, and we generally use this as the structural component to our tarp style shelters. And the reason that we like this in the outdoor community is because this is like the bones, like I said, the structure to numerous style tarp setups, from plow points to A-frames to double A-frames to floating shelters, all kind of cool stuff. I even made some of them up right there. But point being, with this knot, which if you've never tied a trucker's hitch, you gotta learn it. And I have a good video on it. I'm gonna try to search through my 1,000+ videos to find it. Otherwise, just go on my knot section and watch every one of those videos. But there's just some silly little cues I give that make it really easy for people to learn this knot. But with this knot, it's a tensioning knot. So it's tied off to one end of the tree, wrapped around this tree, and then it has this loop in the middle of the line itself. And what we do with that loop is we go, and that makes this thing banjo string tight. But it's just not done. I just can't like let this go because that happens. And that is the #1 culprit when I see people setting up shelters, is they get this line nice and tight and then they have to finish the knot and this happens. And it's all soft and nobody likes that. I mean, it's like building a house with like wet, sloppy lumber. You just wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. So that's what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you 3 ways to fix that issue if you're having it. So let's get right into it. Okay, so tip #1 is the easiest by far. So when you tie off your first tree, you come around your second tree, tie your trucker's hitch, and you start to pull. Don't just stand here and pull. Do this. You're going to go around the tree this way and use the tree as a lever to pull. You can see how tight I'm getting that now. I pull and pull and pull. And what that's going to do now, okay, is that is going to eliminate me needing to hold this portion of the knot. I can use this secondary string here as my tie-off point, which is very simple. It's just like a half hitch, right? Just throw a half hitch in there, tighten it down, just like that. And then, my friends, we are good to go. We don't lose any tension in this, and you are going to be a happy camper. So utilizing the tree with the extra as a lever is going to get the job done. All right, now tip #2, I'm going to be out of the frame, so you're going to miss this for a little bit. But point being, we have our loop right here. So what you're going to do before you start to tension this is you're actually going to take your line, this stuff that you'd actually pull, and you're going to go through your loop one more time. So you can see my loop. I'm going to take my extra line. I'm going to go through it one more time. Okay, and now what that's going to do is that's going to create a double wrap around here. Now, you're going to pull this super tight. I'm going to readjust the camera here. You can see how much it's stretching, right? So I'm pulling this super tight. And now, we're not just gonna leave it like this. Some instructors will say, well, just leave it like that, you'll be fine. But this thing pops if I pull it this way. So I don't want that to happen. I'm gonna pull, and I'm gonna pull. And now, this is like a second hand. This right here, I can, look at pinky and thumb, very dainty. And I can tie off my ridge line. And this thing is, you hear that? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, now the third power pull method is the most technical. Not overly technical, but you gotta use your brain power a little bit when it comes to this one. So first of all, you're gonna tie your original loop onto your trucker's hitch, okay? So ridgeline set up, I have my loop. Now I tell most people when setting up that first loop, like hang out by the tree like you're cool and reach your arm out. And that's like a perfect spot distance from the tree, because remember, paracord stretches and it's gonna tighten up your line, it's gonna pull closer to the tree. But in this instance, we wanna go at least double that. So what does that mean for you? Well, that means when you're picking trees to set up your shelter, they have to be further apart than you normally would pick them, okay? Because, and you're gonna see why in a second. But I have my trucker's hitch here, my line goes, it wraps around the tree, and generally we would take this line and we would put it into our loop. But in this case, we're first going to tie, guess what? Another trucker's hitch loop. Can you see that here on the camera? Another trucker's hitch loop once it makes itself around a tree. Now, this is where the brain power comes in. As you know with a trucker's hitch, if I pull this, the loop should not close on itself. This one is going to be opposite. So if I pull this, the loop is not closing on itself. Okay? So these loops are opposing. I can pull each other. All right, and we're going to be good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the remaining part of my line. I'm going to go through my first loop. I'm going to go through my second loop. And now what I created was a 2-to-1. So now I can get a ton of tension. We're going to bring these loops closer together. So if you end up doing this and your loops touch and you still need to pull more power, then just add, either move this loop further down or move this loop further back. But in this case, what you're going to notice, I'm going to pull it right out. This thing, this is going to be beyond. I don't know what's tighter than a banjo string, but this is going to be it. So now you can see I'm holding it with one hand. This again, very dainty. I can just hold that. I don't have to death grip it because it's a 2-to-1. So I'm folding this over itself, pulling this nice and tight. Boom! Bing! Again, another tight way, not a tight way, another good way to get that ridgeline tight. So there you go, my wood going friends. 3 very powerful ways to get that ridgeline super tight. See what I did there? Powerful ways, because getting all this power, you get it, okay? So you don't have to train like Rocky, and you can still get these things the way they need to be. Just make sure when you're setting them up, practice this stuff before you go out, or even if you go out and it's a nice day, work with your ridgeline a little bit, because the tighter and the more efficient you get with this, the better your shelters just lay. And I think anybody that have came to our courses over the years would definitely agree. You don't want to wake up in the morning, your tarp's all sagging and water's laying on it and it's leaking, and oh, we don't want it to happen. So give these 3 a shot. Tools for the toolbox, like we always like to say here at Coalcracker. Also, hit like and subscribe down below. Check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com, and until next video, stay in the woods.